Well, we're back at guitars. This is Woodstock Guitar Guy, Michael Veach, and this is our home for wayward guitars here today. And I'm playing a absolutely stunning acoustic that it found me. It was one of those guitars that found me. I'm always keeping an eye out for something interesting, and this came along on very short notice and for very little money. I have to say this is the deal of the month here at Woodstock Guitar Guy, if not the year. I don't know. We'll see how the year goes, but it's a Yamaha, and it is a Yamaha DW-5s TBS, which means tobacco sunburst finish, I guess. It has a beautiful finish. I mean, look, it doesn't get any better than this. This guitar was built sometime between 1996 and 1998. It most likely was built in Indonesia. I don't believe it was actually built in Japan. Yamaha's got factories in 3 or 4 different places that make their guitars, so it's hard to tell. And apparently their their system of ID numbers, serial numbers, it's still a little difficult to track it down. I tried, but I settled on Indonesia as being the home of this thing. It has so anyway, I'll go into the details, but so it was only built for a couple of years. I've seen it listed as their flagship dreadnought during those years. I've seen it listed as the only actual true dreadnought copy that they built in those particular years. There was a higher level of Yamaha called the LL series. This started out in the early 90s apparently as part of the LL series and got bumped to something new called the DW series. Now, I don't pretend to understand how any of this works. I'm just the messenger here. I think it's one of their top line acoustic guitars in that particular era. And it comes with a solid Sitka spruce top. I believe it's Sitka. And it comes with rosewood back and sides, which I believe are laminate. It's got a NATO neck, has these beautiful gold rotomatic copy, if not actual rotomatic tuning pegs, and a lot of pearl, a lot of purling, I guess they call this, where they add the pearl to the to the binding. Purfling, that's what it is, purfling. And it came with this amazing pickup, which is built by K&K. It is a double helix sound hole pickup. And these by themselves sell for around $200, brand new. And this particular one was kind of semi-permanently installed. You can see I've got my button for the strap, which they apparently moved, or maybe it was always there, I don't know. And then this thing is the jack. These double helix pickups are designed to be taken out and swapped out to different guitars, which I plan to do. I plan to disconnect this and take the whole thing out and use it as a swappable pickup, because as you can see, I've got a few guitars here, and they don't all have pickups, and this is a wonderful pickup. We'll try to get some tones going out with the with this thing. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna see if I can wire it up so we get a decent sound out of the pickup. Why now? First of all, this thing was very inexpensive, and it came up online. I get a notice from a music store that I bought some other used guitars from, and this particular guitar came up. So I was saying, I receive a email like once in a while when this particular music store gets some new used products, new used guitars in, and because I've bought a few used guitars. They're a great place, and they ship them right over, and I'm always surprised at the quality. It's always better than I expected, and they negotiate with the price. And so this particular guitar with the pickup and the shipping, I had to pay shipping. Total cost was $220, and $50 of that was the shipping. So I paid $170 for the guitar with the pickup combined. So I looked at it as I'm getting a free pickup, or I'm getting a free guitar with a $200 pickup, because this is a $200 pickup, okay? And so what's the hitch? Well, there's always a hitch, right? And the hitch here is that this particular guitar, which has had very little play, I mean, the frets are beautiful. It's got wonderful tone. This thing just, it's a rugged instrument. It's solid. I mean, this is as solid as my Guild, okay? I would put it in the same ballpark as the Guild D50 I have here. Tuning pegs, perfect. Keep everything in tune nicely. It's got the rosewood fretboard, rosewood bridge. But what's the kicker? Well, here's the deal. The guitar has a repaired headstock. And as best as I can figure, this headstock did not break off. It cracked. And that's different than breaking off. But it cracked. Somebody glued it. They did a nice job. It's all glued back together, clamped. I have a history of guitars with broken necks and go way back. You may have remembered my story about the Firebird, the beautiful 1964 Mark I Firebird that I paid $75 for, and that some idiot, it wasn't me, but some idiot knocked it over, and that was that. I tried fixing it, and it broke again, and I tried it a second time and got rid of it. But I played a Les Paul Black Beauty professionally for about 20 years. That was a 1969 Les Paul Black Beauty, which I still, it's still in the family. I gave it to my son. Many years ago when I started to focus on acoustic music, I gave it to him. I figured, hey, he can learn to play all those Aerosmith solos, and the Jeff Beck and all of that, the Yes and everything that I used to do. And so he still has it. I mean, we still have that guitar. That guitar had a broken neck that was repaired. It was a Gibson. And, there's a kind of a little joke that goes around the internet about, the fake Gibsons. They call them Chibsons, and they're exact duplicates. They look almost exactly the same as a Gibson, Les Paul or whatever, And the joke is, check to see if the neck has been repaired, the headstock. They're famous. The Gibsons are famous for their headstocks failing, getting knocked over. I think part of it is the angle. You'll notice that this is at a pretty significant angle, this headstock. So somebody dropped it, it fell over. These things happen. Now, I personally do not mind a repaired headstock on a guitar. That doesn't scare me. It doesn't freak me out. If it's done right, if it was done properly, the repair, I'm good with it, good to go. The one thing I don't like is if the crack interferes with my hand, and in this case it does not. The crack is higher up. It's up in here, so it doesn't. My hand doesn't really touch it. With cowboy chords, Oh, and by the way, the neck on this thing, holy moly, it's a soft V. They really pulled out all the stops at Yamaha. I got to give them credit. They get a bum rap sometimes, They're not the most expensive guitars in the world, but they really they try hard. And this one is a stunner, a really nice winner of a guitar. I'm going to record with it for sure, and I may play out with it. The rap on these things is that they tell you when you start reading reviews and stuff is that Tom Petty, none other than Tom Petty, liked this particular guitar, this model. He probably went for the same color too, Look at that pickguard. I mean, come on, So, and I won't back down. So there you go. I mean, the tuning is excellent. I've got the James Taylor tuning going on here. I tuned it 2 days ago and I haven't had to touch it since. You may notice I play a little hard sometimes on the... It's a professional guitar, not a toy, folks. And I think that if you find a really decent guitar that's had a cracked or broken and repaired headstock, don't be afraid of it. I mean, if it was done right, if it was put together right, if it was mended properly, it's good to go. If they used good glue, which apparently they did here, there's nothing to worry about. That joint is as strong as, if not stronger than, the actual wood that is glued together here. And you get a huge discount on the price because a lot of people are afraid of the repaired neck headstock. Not me. And I have a lifetime experience of working with guitars that have repaired headstocks. I've never had an issue. Now I will say, I did have an issue one night on the stage with a Fender, a CBS Fender Stratocaster. Remember those? They came with the tilt-a neck or whatever it's called. There's a little thing back here where the neck bolts on, and you could actually raise and lower the level of the neck where it hit the body. And I had one of those. It was my only guitar at the time, and I was playing with a cover band, and we traveled around. We were busy. I mean, we were up in northern Vermont performing in a barn, for like 7 nights or something like that, And right in the middle of a song, I was soloing, and all of a sudden, all the strings just went bong. They all just dropped about 8 steps, you know. And I said, wow. And I noticed the neck had come loose, and something had broken inside that little, you know, tilt-a-neck device that CBS had stuck in their guitars right in the middle of a song. And I didn't have a backup guitar back in those days, you know. We didn't think of that. We had one guitar and one amp, and that was it. I think I had a Fender Bassman, actually, that I used to, link the channels, you know, to get the overdrive going. We didn't have pedals. We didn't have overdrive pedals. We had to, like, take a cord out of channel 1 and run it into channel 2 to use the first channel to overdrive the second channel to get the distortion or the, you know, the overdrive that you wanted. So that was my rig back then. And so that was the only real guitar casualty that I think I've ever experienced. When I get these necks that are repaired, and the Firebird too, now that was a casualty, and unfortunately I was never able to repair that. Those Firebird necks came with they were 7 pieces of a combination mahogany and walnut, and they were neck through, so that piece ran all the way down to the end. And when that headstock went, it was night curtains for the Firebird, really. And now, with that said, and I know I'm talking about Firebirds, but I just wanted to mention that Epiphone has created a recreation of that particular model with the 7-ply neck through, and I've got my eye on one of those somewhere down the road, and we'll just see. You know, I just want to kind of complete the circle. I love the Firebird style. This is a Dreadnought. This is, and it's got a lot of little pearl thingies on the neck. Beautiful. This guitar for $200, or it would have been $170 if I had just like driven all the way over there to pick it up. It was a little far, but great deal. And these in good shape, you know, they sell somewhere around $500 on Reverb, 400, 500, something like that. But there aren't many of them. That's the thing. That's why I grabbed it, because they're very uncommon, and they're very cool guitars. So, with that said, I'm going to go out, play a couple more things, but I'm going to plug it in, so we'll hear what the K&K Double Helix sounds like. We'll do that next. And thanks for listening and tuning in. And if you like it, hit like. If you want to join, hit join. Subscribe is down here somewhere. Subscribe. Put in a comment. Ask me a question if you want. I'll try to answer. I will say this, folks, that I used to get notified by email when somebody posted a comment to my YouTube channel here, and I don't anymore. And I'm not quite sure what I've done to link that. But so if I'm a little remiss at getting back to you right away, it's only because I'm not aware that you've made the comment. But I do go back and look and check, and I'll try to figure out how to keep notifying myself that these people are commenting, because I am getting comments. I thank you for those. I thank you for subscribing, and the more the merrier. I'm going to keep doing it. This is episode 18, and it's Home for Wayward Guitars, the Woodstock Guitar Guy channel. Thank you very much, and next week we'll have a surprise Telecaster. It's coming in the mail a real bargain, and we'll keep it at that. We'll see what happens. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next week. Bye-bye.